Phantom or not. User dash 009 MEEP B1P. Is that a word? Am I missing something? Whatever. He or she says, I want to buy a KMS 104 for a Street Cube, Roland Street Cube. I think I used to have one. Must I buy phantom power? I'm afraid the answer is yes. He watched a video where I had the Bose compact, and he must have spotted that I was using this TC Helicon, which I use a lot, which has, along with the effects, it has phantom power. So I can use my condenser mics. The Bose compact, the small one, doesn't have phantom power and doesn't have any effects. The larger ones do. So maybe you'd have to have that with your Street Cube, but you'd also have to have this. And a main socket, I don't know if you're using the Street Cube, it's battery powered or can run on batteries as well as mains. So I don't know if you'll figure on busking and so on where you wouldn't be able to use this then. This one also requires this, which is quite heavy, old school transformer type one. Same issue. I looked online and you can get devices which are probably about, this is a dual one, it's got two. You can get ones which are about half the size of this, and I believe they have a rechargeable battery in them. So you could use that. A couple of things I want to mention about that. It's all very well. Up to you, but the thing is, well, you've got to remember to take this. You've got your Street Cube and all your packing. You don't take this, you're stuffed. You've got to remember, along with taking this, well, I was going to say take this. That's if we're using mains. I'll leave the TC Helicon out of it for the moment because that's effects and everything. And guess what you've got to remember to take as well? Yep, another mic cable. Because the mic will go into this and then out from this into your amp. If you forget any one of these, you're stuffed. The battery powered one, okay. Probably mains or battery, I'm not sure, but battery. So you have to remember to bring the unit, obviously. And you have to have enough charge. As if we haven't got enough things to charge. With your phone, your tablet, this and that. If you're like me. So a little extra thing. And you've got to remember the cable. If you forget any one of those things, you get to the gig, you're stuffed. I was wondering then, would you not be better off with a dynamic? I don't think the Roland Street Cube will really show off the condenser, but maybe you want the mic for other things as well, I don't know. So I thought then, well, would you not be better off with a dynamic? And you turn up with your mic and your cable, which you're probably used to doing, so you're unlikely to forget either of those because it's a regular thing, but you haven't got the three other things to remember. And then you've got to plug them in, and it's all a bit more, isn't it? So I thought then, here's your KMS 104. These are about, my goodness, wasn't when I bought it. I looked online, 519 for 104. If you're thinking about that kind of money on a mic, then here's a Sennheiser Dynamic MD431 Mark II, which is £425. But I also thought maybe you'd consider, I won't call it low end, but whatever, affordable dynamic, which is the SEV7. Remember then, if you get your condenser, the power supply, phantom power supply box battery one, I think they're about £50. So you've got to add that to your 519, and then you'll need an extra cable with phantom. I'd get the best cables going, really, because if there's any sort of issue with the cable of the phantom power, you get all sorts of noises. Not so much with a dynamic. If it crackles a bit and something, you can get through the gig. But these tend to reboot and make all sorts of noises. So a cable's going to be another 20. So it's another £70 you're adding to your 519. And this is £75 on its own and doesn't need any of that. All this. More expensive, but... Okay, so just go through them so you can hear what the difference is, and you might, I don't know, not trying to put you off getting this one, but of course you've got to figure whether it suits your voice as well. Otherwise it's a double whammy. So I'm on the KMS 104. Compared to the SV33, you can hear straight away at the top there, and you can hear the low end's not there, which tends to leave on my voice anyway. There's a little bit of boxiness, which there's in the 105 as well. So this is the KMS, there's quite a bit of that going on. Whether that will come through so well with the Roland Street, don't know. So that's the KMS 104. KMS 104, back on the SV33. Now I'm going to move to the Sennheiser. Now I'm on the Sennheiser 4312. 4312. What do I notice? Sennheiser. When I said Sennheiser, got a little bit of that rise at the top there. 33. Can you hear it's a little bit more in there? Very nice sounding, warm, smooth. I like it. So that's a dynamic. Shall I go between the two? These are the two you might be considering. This is the Sennheiser then. This is the Sennheiser then. This is not the Sennheiser. This is not the Sennheiser. You can maybe hear, and as I touch that there, this condenser is going to pick up a little bit more of that, I think. Let me swap back. Sennheiser coming up. Sennheiser. Sennheiser. And that rattling there is a little bit more muted, I feel. Of course, that one was closer to it. Here it is then with the Sennheiser on the same side as the rattling. Going back to the Neumann. Don't know if it's me because I can hear it through the, but it picks that up more. That's, you kind of expect that with a condenser anyway. They're more sensitive. Back on the 33. I'm going to move over to the V7. This is the V7. This is the V7. I noticed that, and I noticed the low in my voice is a little bit puddingy. The whole thing is a little bit more contained, a little bit more SM58-like, and I wonder if they were doing that on purpose when they designed it. So it's rather more compact. Just gives you the necessary, really. Necessary. Between the two dynamics. The necessary, really. The necessary. That's the V7. Necessary. The V7. Sennheiser. Necessary. It's a bit louder, so I'm going to bring it down. Necessary. It's just more open. Just not so open. Even if I bring it closer, just not so open. But as you know, you're going to complain. £75. Finally, if I can, this is a Neumann KMS 105. I noticed as I breathed in there, so that area is quite revealed. Not in a nasty way. This is the Neumann KMS 105. 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 Doesn't like my voice down there so much. The Sennheiser MD431. The Sennheiser MD431. The Sennheiser MD431. The Sennheiser MD431. The SE Electronics V7. The SE Electronics V7. The SE Electronics V7. Back on the SV33 for a bit of a comparison. One final thing. You may be outside. I was caught out once or twice. It was windy, and whichever way I turned the mic, I couldn't get rid of the wind noise, which had never occurred to me. Should have, but it hadn't. Never happened before, mostly inside. So I'll just go through these and see if there's much difference in terms of if you're going to be outside and there's a bit of a breeze. We shall see. Neumann KMS 104. Sennheiser MD 431. Interesting that. Much the same in terms of volume level, but less treble, I think. I'll just go back through just because I'm curious now. But the V7. I'm done, but I'm going to do this because I can hear a difference in the tone of the wind. That's quite useful because of the voice. I'm always trying not to change my voice when I know what a mic's like, and I tend to start emulating the mic if I'm not careful. But with the wind, it's it's all new to me, so it's probably much more even. That's not the word, but anyway. So KMS 104. Straight on, slightly to the side. I'm going to aim for Sennheiser. V7. All of them different. Sennheiser. Sennheiser has more low-end raw and a little bit of silky stuff at the top, to my ears. Neumann. Less low-end raw, and of course that peak and the detail at the top there. Anyway, that's the end of that. The answer to the question then is yes, you will need phantom power. And you can consider what I said earlier, or you might consider for £75 or having both. I know. But you might consider £75 for your Roland Street. I don't know why you were considering the Neumann KMS 104 because it's so expensive. So I say maybe you've got other stuff as well that you want to use it for. So you know what? You could buy your KMS 104 for the other stuff if that's the case. And then for the £70 you'd have to spend and the fiddling around with the phantom power and an extra cable for £75, you could buy this and just use this with your Roland Street and save the posh mic for other stuff. There's a thought. Seems a good idea to me, but I don't know what your intention is, what your use is. Anyway, hope that's been of some help to you and maybe a couple of others, and I'll see you next time.